Hi, my name is Alexandria Theordor, and you may or may not know me from my blog, stresslesstherapist.com, where I provide different resources, tips, and tricks to help other mental health professionals get out of the agency rut and burnout cycle and into a life of entrepreneurship, specifically to help them build a work-life balance. I am a firm believer from personal experience that life is just way too short to be stuck in an angry cycle of burnout and resentment, and to not have the energy to spend time and resources on things that are most important to us. So in 2020, I started my own private practice. I jumped into it full-time 2021, and I haven't looked back since. And now it is 2023. I am doing business coaching to help other therapists do the same thing, not just build private practice, but also how to diversify their income, because that is something that I have been blessed and grateful to do as a way to supplement my therapy so I can spend as much time at home raising my little one as possible, because in this season of life right now, that is the thing that I value most, is making sure that she has that secure attachment and a strong foundation for whatever she decides to be growing up. So I wanted to make this video as a way to give a little background as to how I started with passive income and ultimately got my way into coaching. This way, if any of you out there are thinking about maybe building a side hustle while you're at your agency, or maybe you're doing private practice, but you just can't quite fill that caseload and you want to be able to have a little extra resources to go on vacation or to have the flexibility for sick time if you need it, or maybe even drop some of those insurance panels so you can go completely out of network. Building some type of passive income or diversifying your income in some way, shape, or form is a fantastic resource to do so. So I mentioned a little bit earlier that in 2022, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, and because of the life that I built with private practice, I was able to take a 6-month maternity leave. Now, I know this is longer than what many agencies for sure do. They're more like the 6 to 12 week. But I really wanted and needed that time. I wanted to spend as much time with her as humanly possible. But I also needed it for myself. I had a lot of physical complications that came up after my delivery, and I needed time to care for myself. So this way I could then ultimately give back to others when I was ready to. Once that 6 months came up, I was ready to dip my toe back into private practice, which I did, and I absolutely loved. But I quickly learned that I couldn't handle the caseload that I was doing before. That even doing something part-time of 10 clients a week wasn't realistic, right? My original goal was, I'll see 2 people a day. That's 5 days a week. That's 10 clients right there. Boom. It should be just like what I was doing before. But just at a slower half speed. I did not have the mental or emotional capacities to do that, because I don't know if you're a parent or know anybody who's a parent, but caring for an infant 24/7 all day, every day, and being there for their emotional needs and physical needs is draining. To then have to turn on the therapist hat and essentially reparent in some cases, or be that emotional space holder for others, I was emotionally tapped out, and I couldn't fathom seeing 10 plus clients a week and still being there for my family without experiencing that burnout. So I started to panic because I financially planned to be back to work earlier than the 6 months. Originally, I had to extend it again because of medical complications. But then I had plans to be seeing 10 plus people a week doing part-time work. And that wasn't going to happen. So I needed to get creative. I needed to think of something pretty quickly. Because I don't know about you, but bills don't just stop because you're tired. So I started to Google. I was curious, like, what other therapists are doing? What passive income is there? What options, what jobs are there for therapists? And somehow I stumbled on Etsy. And I saw that there were other therapists selling resources to other therapists, like different handouts and notes and documentation templates. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. I could do that. Now, backstory is I've always been fantastic with my documentation. So it's kind of my blessing and my curse of being a type A personality. So I had templates ready to go because I use them every day in my practice. So a couple tweaks here and there, taking my name and my license number and things off it, and I made a generic template that I then sold on Etsy and put up there as curious as to, okay, well, what would people do if I had this up? And to my surprise, it sold quickly, right? Within the first 24 hours, I had a sale. I was like, huh, interesting. Is this a fluke? And then a couple days later, I got another sale. And then I was like, this might be something. So I started to promote it in Facebook. More specifically, when people would ask questions about documentation, I would answer them like I would always do, but then I would have my link to it if someone wanted to use my template as a shortcut. And then it really started to sell. And I was thrilled. I was ecstatic. I was through the moon. And ultimately, though, I started to wonder, well, what other things could I sell? So I was doing other things besides soap notes, and ultimately I got curious if other ways to market and to sell these products, because Etsy was taking a decent chunk out of it. And so that's how I came across blogging and email marketing, and then from there it just soared. What started off as a humble 6-minute soap note turned into a whole documentation kind of packet, which then turned into a live presentation, which people were eager to do because they had questions and they wanted to talk to a live person to see how they worked and not just have a template. And then that live presentation turned into a recorded course, so people can do it on demand and didn't have to be restricted to the hours that I was available to teach it. They can watch it whenever they wanted. And then that course led to a different course. It's like, because I thought, okay, if I can teach people this, well, what other things can I teach people? And ultimately, I came up with a collection of different courses. Some I do live, some I have recorded. People began asking me for one-on-one coaching services, so I added that too. And now I have a diverse portfolio of different ways that I'm bringing in income. This way, I don't feel like I have to rely strictly on the emotional heaviness of a one-to-one therapy session, that I can do something more creative and help somebody with copywriting. I can write a blog post and promote an affiliate product and get paid that way. So I don't even have to be in my office to get paid. I can be at the beach or at Sesame Place with my little girl and make a sale through that way. Now, at this point in time, I'm at the perfect stage where it is supplementing my income so I don't have to take on more clients from a therapeutic perspective, and I'm happy with that. At some point in time, I might choose to take more clients on. There might be a time where I want to take less clients, and now I have the skill set where I can play with that and have flexibility with that. Whereas before, when it was just one-on-one therapy and private practice, if I didn't sit in the chair and work with somebody, I didn't get paid. That meant holidays, I wasn't getting paid. That meant vacations, I wasn't getting paid. Sick time, I wasn't getting paid unless I had kind of pre-planned some things and packed my schedule in advance. This way it covered those slower seasons, say for example the summer. But now with income diversity and passive income streams, multiple passive income streams, I make sales literally while I sleep. I make sales while I'm away for a week with my family. And it's fantastic because I know that even if a client cancels that week, I'll still have something coming in, which is wonderful. And is such a relief, not just financially, but emotionally, because knowing that there are other avenues, because if one thing goes down, that's not my only income source. So if you're watching this video and you've ever been curious about how to diversify your income as a therapist, know that it's possible. There are probably a million ways that I'm not doing that you can do. It doesn't have to be therapy related. It could be if you are a fantastic baker, or if you're a crafter, or if you are a pet guru. Maybe there's an avenue there for you. But regardless of what it is, I encourage you to consider it, because it's so freeing to be able to have that financial security, make that money without feeling like you're locked in an office, whether it is your own office because you've built your dream practice, or whether it's an office set up by somebody else because you're working at the agency. To be able to have that flexibility of when you work and how much you work. So that's all I have for now. I will put some resources down below if you're interested in learning more on this topic, or if you're interested in working with me directly to come up with a very personalized plan as to what this could look like for you. But my hope is that it gives you a little bit of inspiration and at minimum some ideas about what is possible, because it absolutely is. If I can do it, you can totally do it, because just like you, I am a master's level professional who had dreams of staying home and still wanted to work and to use my brain and to try different avenues. And with a little creativity, I was able to make it happen. So as long as you're willing to take a risk and stretch yourself a bit, there's a whole world out there for you. And I can't wait to see what you do. So shoot me an email, comment on this post, join the Facebook group. Let me know what you're doing, because I would love to celebrate with you. Take care for now. Bye-bye.